what if we could remove all the chatter? And what if we could remove all the distractions and sit quietly with ourselves and listen to what our soul is trying to tell us about patterns we need to release and how we can move forward in the highest and best interest for us? Well, to say that we've had distractions and chatter this month would be an understatement for sure. But Spirit did kind of warn us in that live show I did at the beginning of the month about amplification, wow, and engagement. And so today I wanted to get some more messages for us from Spirit, because we are heading into, believe it or not, it's actually true, the holidays. It's here, it's coming, there's no stopping it. And we can choose the type of amplification that we might experience over the holidays. And I ask spirits very practically, how can we amplify positive energy? And how can we break the patterns that we have had in the past that could lead to a more joyful and fulfilling end of the year? And I received some really good messages, and I wanted to share them with you. And I have 3 topics I want to cover. The middle of it will be a channeled message. I always channel for these shows, and I wanted to share a really important part of it with you. So let me know what you think of the channeling, because I'm a little nervous about just sitting there with my eyes closed, but I want to share it. It's a very important message. And it kind of helps with our moving forward for the remainder of the year. And one of the things that immediately that Spirit wanted me to bring up was engagement, and how we engage with each other, and how we engage in the energy right now, and how we can change the patterns that have been kind of, boy, hard to break. There has been so much distraction out there. There has been so much chatter. So one of the things that right out the gate I wanted to share is that Spirit had said, can we start our mornings a little differently? Instead of the pattern that I know I've had, and a lot of people probably share, of getting up and listening to whatever negative information is out there, and it's really hard to avoid it, right? Can we take the first 5 minutes of the day and grab our pumpkin spice with everything beverage and just sit in the quiet and say, what does Spirit want to share with me today? What does my soul want me to know? What is my intention for today? Just 5 minutes of shifting the pattern of our day. It's a very practical piece of advice, and I know it works, and yet I've stepped away from it. And so can we commit to, maybe for the last part of the year, that we just take 5 minutes? All the chatter will be there later, but we can then fill our cup up with some positive energy before we head out into what's going to be, the holiday bustle on top of everything else. The second part that I'm going to now lead into has to do with what Spirit wants us to know about seeing people that we're going to engage with differently. This can be a very triggering part of the year, and there are certain people and groups that simply aren't worth engaging with. And this is not what we're talking about today. But Spirit is nudging us to take a look at, should we perhaps look at the necessary avoidance versus maybe engaging a little more again in a group, even if someone triggers us? Let's go into this channeling and see what can be shared about how we can maybe see the situation differently and how we can see people a little differently. what is intended to be a time of joy and gatherings has become convoluted. But know that this is not something new. Humanity has always experienced polarization and separation as part of the experience coming to the earth plane. Try not to be so hard on yourselves and each other, for you agreed to experience this separation and polarity. If you can see it as that, an agreement to experience it, and make it more about the experience of what it feels like, and less about the individual that is allowing you the opportunity to experience it. And yes, we said allowing you the opportunity to experience it, because it is something that was desired at your soul level to have an experience of. What does it feel like to be around someone who sees things exactly the opposite way? Is it possible to bridge a relationship, a communication with someone who is so different? Is this the challenge for humanity? And while it feels like you have taken a step backwards in the last decade, we are here to say that is not the case. You are actually taking a step forward. Your acknowledgement of the polarity, of the differences, is, as they say, the first step, is to admit that you have the problem. And yet it is not really a problem. It is an experience and a moving to the surface of the things that have been denied for so long. What is it that would make you see this person differently? And what is it that would make them see you differently? For as you come into a situation with a predetermined idea or judgment of who this individual that you find triggering is, they also come in with this predetermined idea and trigger of who you are. Where does that come from? Perhaps the first step is being in the room. Can you just be in the room together without too much? They're showing a caution about too much alcohol, with removing anything that would amplify the tendency to slip back into negative patterns. Can you be in the same room? If you can do this, this is a bigger step than you think. There are many steps that lead you up the mountaintop, but the first one can feel the most unsteady, even though you're on the most level ground. The reconnection of humans with each other, the acknowledgement of what has kept them from each other, is a pivotal moment that is on the horizon. I'm being shown a red carpet that is being rolled out. You are at a pinnacle where you can step down this carpet and go together. And now they're showing me the yellow brick road that leads to Oz. The next step is to take a look at what Oz is. But you first must be able to travel down the yellow brick road together. Keep in mind that Dorothy and all of her counterparts all carried major flaws, all saw things through a perspective that was individual to them. And yet all of them relied on each other to pull back the curtain when they arrived in the Emerald City to show what was really happening. Perhaps that cowardly lion is the one that may step up and show the most courage. Be prepared for those who you may perceive one way to actually present themselves in a different light in the not too distant future. This is why it is important to keep an open mind and to acknowledge that through all of the flaws that each individual carries with them, can together make a very strong team. I'm still being shown the Wizard of Oz. In the Wizard of Oz, it is not until Dorothy returns home and opens her eyes, and I'm getting chills with this, the scene is black and white, where she saw her co-characters in the beginning in black and white. She sees the fullness of who they are. But it wasn't until they took this adventure, until they joined arms and skipped down the yellow brick road and took on the wizard, that they saw each other's soul, who they were really at their base. Not this outside character, this role that they had played, but rather the soul of the individual wrapped in humanity, becoming its full self. The reason I love sharing some of this channeled information is that it's put in a way that, I just can't think of a way of putting it better than what Spirit had to share. And that is, when you look at The Wizard of Oz, which maybe we need to watch again, and you look at the characters that all of her neighbors were playing, and if you look at the whole Oz scenario as the situation in the world and in our country right now, and how they all went through it together, and how they all had to shed this character role that they had. And it wasn't until the end that Dorothy could see the humanity of them, and that she could see who they really were. And they had to go through Oz together and find and see the wizard and work together, and that we were surprised. The people that we thought were going to be cowardly were brave, or the people that we thought didn't have a brain maybe had more to offer. So I think if we can look at it like maybe we're in for not just negative surprises, but maybe we have some positive surprises coming, and maybe some people are going to surprise us in a positive way. The last part that I'll share is that from a very practical standpoint, Spirit had showed me writing something down. And I think it has to do with being prepared that now that we're tipping our toe into the water and trying to engage a little bit more, because engagement, that we have something prepared. If we find a moment triggering where somebody says or does something, that we have a little something that we have written down in our head, and maybe we have it in our pocket, like, so-and-so, it's really, haven't seen you in a while, it's really great to see you. I remember we used to do these fun things in the past, and I'd really like to make tonight just about enjoying the season or enjoying this. Can we not discuss that? Let's just keep this a fun evening and pivot have your thing you can pivot on, because you may not even need it. But if you know you have it, it just takes that worry off of your plate. So if you would comment below, if you have something that you can share with all of us that has taken a situation that could have escalated and pivoted it, what did you say? How did you neutralize? What do you have in your hip pocket in case something goes astray and you want to try and shift it? Because I think the more that we have that with us, the less we have of hesitation to engage. Okay, so let's pull one oracle card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. What is the final message for today, Spirit? What's the final message for today? Beauty. Find the beauty in the season. Find the beauty in all the lights. Find the beauty in, supporting our friends and neighbors, buying locally, supporting small businesses, staying in the energy of maybe going Christmas caroling, taking a look at the light tours, going out and finding the beauty in just the simple decorating that the kids do on the tree that's always a mess, that I always am tempted to fix, but it's really pretty beautiful. Finding the beauty of the season. So I hope that was helpful. And I want to take a moment as we go into Thanksgiving week to say, I am so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for how supportive you've been. I'm so thankful for you being patient with my learning curve. I'm actually very thankful that I posted a video where we didn't all agree, and yet we had a very civil engagement on differing opinions and perspectives, and we still are all together as a group. And if we could just take that out into the world, we'd be right as rain, people. It would all be good. And what we've displayed here with our engagement with each other really gives me hope that we can go through these holidays and be even in a better place to end the year with some joy and engagement and seeing some people again. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Anyway, don't forget to sign up for the free newsletter so you can receive an invitation for our online holiday gathering. Hope to see you there. Take care, and I'll see you soon.